Hello and welcome back. This is video number 7. We are now going to take all the ideas that you brainstormed in the previous video, and now we are going to reorganize them into a sequential step-by-step outline. So essentially, if you think about how movies are created, and like I said, it was usually a storyboard, and then you figure out what scene should go before what scene. That's this purpose of this video. So let me show you how it works right now. Okay, so referring back to the notes that we took during the short written ad, I'm going to scroll down here, and I went ahead and wrote out an outline that you can follow. So we have the attention, which is kind of the calling out of the audience, sort of like the short written ad where you call out the audience. So if we refer back to it, we remember that there was a eyeglass wear ad which called out the audience. And there was also a retirement ad which didn't necessarily call out the audience, but called out a question that the audience would gravitate towards. So in this case, we have attention colon audience as our first. And then we have something like imagine being able to do this or do that. So retirement wise, imagine being able to live carefree with your family without having to worry about income or something. But the problem is blank, and that's the roadblock, right? So now you're beginning to see all the things that we talked about briefly kind of come into play. And then we have the quick overview of the solution after we introduce the solution. And then of course, after that, we have the what's and the whys in sort of an educational manner. And then of course, we have number 7, which is the snippets of the highlights. And then of course, the call to action. So what I would recommend that you do is just pause this video and jot this outline down. You can follow this outline, you can kind of play around with it, you can tweak it however you wish, but the goal here is definitely you want this, and you can kind of sprinkle benefits around this area here. You can also sprinkle highlights around as well after you introduce the solution. But this is kind of the format that we use. So let's take, for example, the WordPress SEO video course. So let's think about the audience. Well, in this case, the audience, like we mentioned earlier, would be potentially somebody who is frustrated, who has an online website, and their website just isn't getting the traffic that they need. So they could be online businesses, people with websites, which are most likely online businesses. And if they, let's say newbies, and the newbies, the roadblocks is that they have technical difficulties. And then we have maybe intermediate people, or let's say tech savvy people, but they just don't know the formula of how to set up a WordPress SEO site. But that would be the same for a newbie. So what we found is as long as you're talking directly to the audience that is a newbie, typically starting with the basics, then eventually you will be talking directly to the tech savvy people as well. So we're going to do newbies in online businesses, people with websites. And what is the benefit of this course? The benefit is to be able to rank on Google and Yahoo to get free search engine optimized traffic. The problem is the technology, which is typical. And most video courses solve that simply by showing people how to do X, Y, and Z. So the problem is technology, in this case, how to make a WordPress site SEO friendly. So in other words, they aren't sure, not sure about what to do. what formula to use, what plugins to use. And the solution, of course, is going to be the video course that you're selling. So in this case, it is the video course on how to make any WordPress site SEO friendly. There's no discrimination towards any website. So we can say any WordPress website, because that's something that somebody would probably ask is, well, does my site work with this video course? So we want to make sure that we emphasize that here. And then of course the quick overview of the solution. This is I forgot how many parts it was. I think it was 9. Let me just check real quick. So it's a 9-part video course. And then we need a video snippet for this. So as you're writing your outline, think of areas that you could extract the video snippets. So in this case, we could extract the video snippet of the 5-factor video. Then of course we have the what's and the whys in an educational manner. So in this case, what is important about having a WordPress site that is SEO friendly? So most likely this information will be in either the introduction or typically will be in the first video or the second video for the snippet. And of course, number 7, snippets of highlights. That's easy. You're looking for kind of screen capture video or screen share video. And when I'm referring to this, I'm referring to you're actually looking at a mouse move around on the screen and all that. Of course, this makes it difficult if the video course is just purely PowerPoint and that's it. But sometimes video courses, if they're teaching the basic fundamentals, then it doesn't really make sense to have screen share. But if it's showing how to do something, then it's necessary to have screen share. So in this case, to show the snippets of the highlights of the how, remember we have the 5-factor video that talks about the 5 different SEO factors. And then of course, following that video, I believe, can't remember, let's see here, videos 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 4 through 8, videos 4 through 8. And then I believe it's the part 2 or the second half of each of the video is where it's located. So as we're writing down the outline, we're also brainstorming and getting an idea of the location of the snippets. And of course we have the call to action, and the call to action, depending on what that is, it could be either getting access to buying the video course, or it could be something additional of value where you could produce a report, maybe a free report or a free article with some tips that maybe elaborate further on those 5 factors. Or maybe you take one of those factors and you elaborate and hire a article writer to write something that is helpful based on one of those factors, and you can do that. Now, just to give you some ideas, since the goal is to get people to sign up on your email list, once they're on your email list, you could have something like a 7 to 12 day autoresponder series. And maybe day 1 and 2 is maybe the welcome, and then of course day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 could be an introduction. Well, let's say welcome on day 1, and then day 2 could be the what's and the whys, and then day 3, 4, 5, 6, those are 5. So actually we could have like 5-factor email, and then of course day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 could be the how snippets. So what I'm showing here is you're going to make a video for the one here, the outline here, but the email list is actually separate. All this is nothing to do with videos or anything like this. These are emails. But I'm just showing you that you can simply also take the outline that you've written and literally turn that into email text and turn that into your autoresponder series. So that's a great idea on how to essentially rehash what you've already created. So that way you don't have to recreate a lot of things from scratch. All right. So just giving you some extra kind of bonus ideas right here. So now that we have the outline for this here, which is from this point to this point, we can move on to the next remaining videos.